Hey, you know what, guys? Sorry we are late. We're just shooting the shit behind the scenes and we lost track of time. Welcome back, everybody, to the Can-Am Connection. Joined by Nathan and Mr. Chocolate Thunder himself.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Please do not, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And you got a bit of a Leonidas thing going on today. What's going on?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Well, one of the topics we're going to be talking about is the Aries tournament that took place last weekend in Colorado. And what I have on, what I possess right now, is the Spartan helmet. And basically that went to the person who had the match of the night. So, quick story. Y'all got 10 seconds? It might take 20. But
take all the time you need, man.
Jonathan Vasquez won the match of the night. I mean, he did awesome. He did good. He's a longtime rival of mine. And then what happened was that he's carrying around, the after pull. We're going to restaurants and stuff, and he has to carry this thing all over the place, right? Yeah, exactly. And so he was like, "Hey, dude, I know you're aware, but you know what though? I'll probably leave it somewhere, take it home with you on one condition." I'm like, "What? You and I got to pull for it, at one of Tim Tom Match's events." I'm like, "Done." So see that? There's the Aries, right? Spartan helmet. I know it's not East versus West, but
it 3D printed?
What's that?
Is that 3D printed?
No, it's a sticker, but still.
No, I meant the helmet. Is the helmet 3D printed?
I mean, it's plastic.
At least it fits.
Yeah. So
it's kind of awkward when they try to stick it on like the guys with the huge heads. That, it just kind of sits up on top like this high.
But it was cool because, if you would have saw how many looks I got while I'm at the airport.
From security?
I mean, while I had it out, I had on top of my, my luggage going through, my carry-on going through security and stuff. But they were like side-eyed, like, "What is this thing?" I was like, "Oh, it's a long story. It's a trophy from our Armwrestling event." So they're like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool." So
I have a funny one for you too.
Oh yeah.
So the Mississippi State Trophy is the bulldog with the arm holding up like this, right?
Yeah.
Well, Robbie won one, I think, a few years back, and he ran that through the X-ray machine in the airport. And by golly, if it doesn't look like a toy sitting there with just it's the funniest thing ever. Boy, he got all kinds of crap for that one.
Well, and the thing is, though, is that event, and we'll have a guest come on in the show momentarily. He can tell you all about it too. But I will say this though, that match between Paul Passport and Nathan McCollum was like, wow,
It was shocking to me.
Well, they went left and right, so
yeah.
But the amount, and here's the thing, because Nathan was bulking up, getting bigger, then Paul was losing weight because for a while Paul was like, in the freaking 280s, 290s or whatnot. Lost all that weight. Now he's down to 242. So last month he goes up to Alabama State, wins the left and right, and then he comes here. So we're thinking, and from a health standpoint, that's why he dropped down to 242.
But didn't he win the overalls too?
I think he did.
He pulled Tullier in the overall.
Well, I think Tullier might have got him. I think
that's when Craig got injured.
Yeah. So there's that. But he looked, skinny for knowing a guy who's to be big is just skinny now. So he was like, wow, but that side pressure, it's still there. So
what do we got going on this weekend, you guys?
What is this weekend?
You know what? It's one of those weekends where I think everything's kind of like on hold because I'm on a couple weekends. It's Arm Gods, it's Winter Blast. But also this past weekend, what'd you guys think about that Brad Grundy and Pablo match?
Shocking. I mean, I knew Grundy's a better arm wrestler. Like, just, I think he's a more intelligent arm wrestler. And Pablo is just brute strength. So, like, round one, Brad was smart. He didn't get what he wanted to set up. He laid it down. Round two, he completely adjusted his setup and the way he approached Pablo. And after round two, that match was over. Like there was no chance for Pablo to come back.
Yeah. I would have probably personally, not to be biased or anything, been more interested in what would have happened if they had pulled left.
Yeah.
Here's my take on that too, though. How much was taken out of Pablo after pulling Michael Todd 2 weeks prior to that? Because he was not 100%. There's no way.
It's hard to say. I mean,
because that match he had with Michael was not easy by any means.
What were your thoughts on that match? I mean, the whole thing, the way it was more for Michael, right?
Yes.
And to see where he's at after the surgeries and all that kind of stuff. I don't think we ever actually touched base on that. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh man, we're going back to like the match in general.
Well, I mean, just I don't know, because it felt like there was some kind of a semi build-up, and then it was like, oh, hey, by the way, we're having this match. And it was just weird. And he had a production crew for that. I'm like, that's just, I thought maybe, that could have been like maybe a Monster Factory main event, type of match on his card, Yeah, Jay Clean was free. But, I'm like, man, Mr. Clifton, what's going on?
There's the thing about the part I don't get is the here's my wound.
Oh yeah, your tape, your bandaging.
There was a video about after pulling, but it was just those two guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't watch it because I don't know what the point is of watching an after pull from the guys that just had the real match. You know what I mean?
I think for Michael's psyche, it was great to have a match with somebody like Pablo, because Pablo is not weak in any way, shape, or form, and we all know that. And in certain angles, I don't think Michael can beat Pablo. Like arm on arm and a hook, I don't think he beats Pablo at all. I think pulling that match the way he pulled that match is a good build-up for him against Frank Lamparelli. Now, I think Frank is a far better top roller than Pablo will ever be. But I think for his mental psyche going into that match, it was extremely smart of him to do.
And he's a mental type of puller.
Does it carry over, though? Does it carry over now that Pablo has been
beaten by Grundy?
Yeah.
You mean
that can plant a seed of doubt now, too?
Yeah.
Like, what was going on?
So are you saying for Michael that, you beat Pablo, okay, cool. Pablo is a legit dude. And you got your, I'm ready now. I'm ready for Frank now. I need that test to see where I'm at strength-wise. And I was able to get him. And now you see Pablo lose to Brad Grundy the way he did. Are you saying, what does that do to Michael's?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that, yeah.
Does it not?
But I think,
does it take away his confidence a little bit?
Maybe. I don't know. I think the main thing for Michael was just to make sure the tendon needed that mental, that tendon was healed. It's not going to blow apart.
Yeah.
Because when I got cleared from mine, getting in that first hook, where you're putting all that stress on that bicep, it's a scary thing leading into it. So I definitely can understand it from that perspective, having had a very similar injury.
Yeah, I get it. And it held up, and that's great.
Yep.
Frank Lamparelli is a very different arm wrestler than Pablo.
Very different, yeah.
Frank may be able to prevent Michael from getting any pronation.
I think you're right. Spot on there.
Here's what I think, and I want you to, and everybody in the chat, to feel free to comment on that. If your next match, for Michael's sake, if your next match is Frank, I don't think Pablo would have been the right kind of person for him. And here's why. Because I believe after Frank, he's also pulling Lars, right?
He's pulling Lars at King of the Table after Frank. Yep.
Okay, so here's where I think I want you guys, everybody, to feel free, comment, you guys respond. This is what I think. When that match with Frank comes and goes, but it'll come back to this. When he trains and gets ready for Lars, this is where he needs to get a hold of Jerry and go, look, flop rest. I need to know what you don't think so?
I disagree because Lars can do multiple things, whereas Jerry is extremely one-dimensional. Lars can top roll. Look what he did against Metarangi Heda Morris. He top rolled him.
Well, I mean, Michael expects to, because all he's going to do is once he now he can do this.
I get that though, but if he's solely preparing for a flop wrist press, then it leaves him susceptible to a top roll or something else, because then you're caught off guard, not expecting something. So I think yes, having Jerry come in and possibly crack on him with a press would be beneficial, but at the same time, he can't just be thinking, oh, he's only going to go this way.
I don't think, I mean, Jay Clean said it there too. I'll give him some credit, but I don't think Lars is going to finish Michael in a top roll ever.
No.
He may hit that way and then transition to his press, but it's going to lead to the exact same position. I don't think Michael has much to worry about with Lars, if I'm being completely honest. I think Michael takes that match in straight rounds, and then they decide if they want to finish it off with the last couple rounds.
I think it would have been smarter. This is just for me. Like if I was, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would have preferred the Lars match prior to the Frank match. Yeah.
Well, who would you say? And when is that? When is that match again? Is that in April?
April 20th is the Frank Lamparelli matchup.
Okay, so here's my question to you guys: who would you rather see Michael train with to get ready for Frank? Who would that person be?
Who is the best posting top roller in North America? That's similar to Frank. That's the question.
I'd call it Bob Brown, honestly.
Bob doesn't pull anywhere similar to that.
No, I meant for his knowledge. Not so much
somebody that is that hand heavy, man. I don't know, like who in North America would be that guy.
Yeah, exactly right. It's hard to find somebody that's comparable to Frank. I don't think we have anybody, to be fair. I mean, I'm trying to think of who we have in super heavyweights that'd be comparable.
That's a posting style top roll.
Yeah,
Jay, it's not Devin. Devin's not the guy for that particular style.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, but he's a left-handed puller. I would have said Cody Merritt, but he's a left-handed puller.
Cody if it was a left-handed match, yeah. Hey guys, I'm going to bring somebody in here.
I would have said prior to Derek getting beat by Matt would have been a good choice, but not anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
What's up, Corey?
How'd you get that?
Because Jonathan Vasquez said that he would probably lose it somewhere. So he told me, hey, take it home. But on one condition, I was like, what? You and I get to pull for it at one of Tim Tom Match's events.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, hey, East vs. West has theirs. Aries has theirs now. So it's all good. We're going to keep this bad boy circulating. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
Corey, thanks for joining us, man. It's been a while since you and I have had a conversation.
I haven't seen Corey since Arizona State.
Well, we're talking years.
That's true.
Years.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Espey. Oh, no, actually, it was in Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I guess it was. No, I can barely remember that stuff, and it seems like it was so long ago, but I guess it was only right in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, that was a little crazy then. Yep.
Yeah.
So, Corey, here's the deal. I want you to tell everybody in the chat and these gentlemen, these knowledgeable gentlemen on the show, give us your feedback on the tournament you put on, the first ever 64-man class, because they don't need to hear from me. They got to hear from the guy itself.
Well, I think it went as well as it could have gone for the very first one. I think that the weigh-ins were a little crazy. Weigh-ins were probably the most stressful part for me. We had almost 22 dropouts. My son's right next to me.
Iron Man.
He's dressed up as Flash.
He's so fast that he's just flashing in and out of the screen.
No, it's strobing.
So the weigh-ins was stressful. We gotta figure some stuff out there. But overall, I think the event went awesome. I mean, the matches were fantastic, back and forth. There was burners all the way through, all the way to the end. There was very, very good matches in the first, second, third round. It in my mind, the matches in general went just as I thought they would go. There was a couple, here's and there's, which makes sense, but the way it was designed was to make it that first 3 rounds as difficult as possible.
It was.
Yeah, and it definitely was. There was really long matches in the first couple of rounds. But the venue, they absolutely loved us. Everyone had a good time at the venue. They want us back immediately. They're already pounding on my door for next day. So I know the venue is small, but for the size of crowd we bring each time, it should be more than fine. And then the live stream takes up the extra. But there's a couple of things I'd like to change, just to kind of make things a little bit smoother. Even though I think overall the event went fairly smooth. It was fast. I think it was 3.5 hours tops for 138 matches or something like that. So pretty quick, about just under a minute and a half a match or so. And we split down to one table, so that did make a difference. But no, I all the guys were awesome. I couldn't have asked for anything better than that. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the next one. Just trying to plan everything out now, looking at the weight classes, seeing which one makes the most amount of sense. She's even actually looking at for us to be able to do like 2 at a time, like a Saturday Sunday or a Friday Saturday.
Ooh.
But the theory of how it all started is working properly. So we wanted the 64 is the main concept. The super match was there. We threw $1,000 at them. That was not out of their pockets or anything. Just $1,000 they wanted because that's the extra money they were pulling from the pool. Every single person who won sponsorship took the sponsorship deal so far. They haven't all signed their contracts yet, or not contract, but you know what I'm saying.
Be careful of that word.
Yeah, I don't want to use that word. It's just saying that they agree to
agreement.
Agreement to doing the submitting their forms and all that kind of stuff. Because it's a reimbursement, obviously they have to submit reimbursement forms for getting paid and everything else. And go ahead, calm down. Come on. Sorry. But no, I think I can't. I mean, I don't have much to say about bad. There's a lot of great.
Who ended up winning that?
Troy Brown.
Troy Brown ended up winning. Yep. He had a really hard match with the first one, and with Drew, and just fortunately the next couple rounds he just got easier matches, and he was one of the highest rated people, so it did help to be on the highest end of things. That was probably one of his God's grace that he got easy matches in the first couple rounds. And I basically I told Jody the same thing. The first 4 rounds make all the difference in this thing. You got to make it through the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
You make it through those first 4 unscathed, and you're probably in the final 4. And that was the case with him. He made it through those first 4 fairly unscathed, started getting tired towards the end, but he was still fine. And everyone else was getting tired.
If I can add, just from a participant standpoint, the one thing I was frustrated with, it was the last minute cancellations, because then you got so many people leaving, and you got to find somebody. Because the whole thing, you guys got to realize is that the bracket, the way it was set up, is to make sure you want the closest guy to you from a rating standpoint in the first rounds and probably the next round. Well, when you got people saying, hey, I can't do it last minute, then now Corey and Frank got to scramble and find somebody and insert them in. That may shuffle the brackets. So there were times where I think I might have had 4 different opponents, and it's kind of hard because we all knew about this, November, I think?
Yeah, November.
We knew about this, so I'm thinking, all right, who am I? All right, cool. There was one time at one point, I'm pulling David Hobbs. Okay, that didn't happen. Then it was Scott Dodd. Okay, that didn't happen. Then it was and I ended up pulling Edo. You know, and it just, you know, from my standpoint, like I said, I could be picky, but it is kind of frustrating. Looks like going, people, do you understand how big this is? This is probably, unless you went to one of the wall tournaments, that this is probably one of the most biggest tournaments you can have, to where it's like everyone, there's no clear cut, you know, favorite. And, you know, that and the fact that, hey, since we've been knowing about this since November, I also put in the fact that there were some guys struggling, you know, make weight. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you knew about this. So why not start cutting now? So that way, come March, you're not in a sauna the night before. I never understood that.
Yeah, no, I will 100% agree with he's saying, because we had a total of 20 dropouts.
Yeah.
So I added 20 more. If I would have kept the other 20, we'd had an 84 man bracket. It would have been insane. But that was extremely frustrating for me and towards the end too, because we lost 12 guys at the last week and a half. And I had that that massive poster. I had to just tape over names and all kinds of craziness at the last minute. That is one thing I definitely want to change and figure out a way to get people more serious or whatever it is. And I understand the medical reasons or whatever some people drop out, but yeah, that was quite difficult. Next time I think I might not actually show you guys the bracket, because that was I know it helped with you guys getting pumped up for matches and
hell yeah, it did. I was fired up.
Well, I know, that's kind of why I did it, is because I wanted to have you get ready for a match and you know who you're going against first and how you can get yourself through the bracket or whatever. But it was quite difficult on my side keeping track with, because like he's saying, like we were literally matching you up against the most like of you possible. And then if I had to move Jody from here and put him over here, now I'm like trying to figure out where to put this person, and it was nightmare. So that really sucked. But it all worked out. We ended up with one person dropping out on Friday, so we were at 63. But
dude, and the whole thing was set up not to have buys, and then last minute the night before, I ain't gonna be able to make it. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So somebody got a Christmas gift in the first round.
Yeah, the lightest weight guy. It was he was an add-in to the last minute, like 190 pounder or something like that.
Yeah, he only pulls 76, doesn't he?
Huh?
Isn't that Lee Aaron's boyfriend, Ben?
Oh, Ben. He was on the other side.
Okay.
No, Vince Gordon out of Colorado got the bye this time.
Oh, the guy I fucking pulled? Get the fuck out of here! Really?
I figured Bledsoe would be the lightest guy there.
No. Vince the one that put me out of the tournament.
Yeah, so that was so to describe the bracket is kind of difficult, but you have an upper 32 and you have a lower 32 all in the same range. And so you have like 4 quadrants of 16 essentially, and the 16s were high to low inside of each other, but a relative from both sides.
Yeah, it's how Arizona State was ran last year.
Very similar. Yeah, very similar.
Yep.
Yeah, so just massively bigger, but yeah, we did our best. Like I said, all the matches were great. There was a lot of burners first round, man. It was like the Isaac match with Danny Gillian. That was fantastic.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
I
knew that was a burner right off the bat, boy. I'm surprised both had arms after that thing.
So Danny was maybe one of the favorites to go far, and then he had a tough match right off the bat.
Yeah, so the way this is designed is your first 3 matches are your hardest matches.
Yeah.
So
he went 2-2.
Yep. And that's another crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other crazy part about this is that there was how many favorites were there, Jody? Like 10, 15 people, and
on one of my podcast shows, we did a thing where, hey, let's do like a random draw or whatever. And it came out like, 10 to 15 different people can win the whole thing. So,
Yeah. I think people did pick Troy to win, but
Yeah, I figured Troy was one of the favorites. Rance, like I was shocked at how like Rance, he got picture perfect opponents for him the first like 4 rounds. Everybody tried to hook him. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't designed that way because I knew Oscar pulled inside drag hook, Fabian hooker, stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun.
When are you doing a super heavyweight version?
Actually, I think that's the one we're gonna do next. I think we're gonna do supers.
You just made Anthony's day because he's not cutting
I know he's been
pulling
blowing
anything.
me up.
He's not pulling any events until the super heavyweight one because he wants to say
there is literally 300 qualified athletes right now for supers, and it makes the most sense.
How do you, just so the people knowing, how do you qualify somebody to be?
All right, so
considered?
The simplest, easiest way that we do it, first off the bat, is you have to have a minimum of 15 matches in the system, regardless of their amateur, pro, novice, whatever, 15 matches, and your rating has to be below, and for Jody's class, it was a 1549 or something like that. 1545, 1550, I don't remember. But for this, you have to be below a certain rating based on the level that there's like a bell curve that we monitor that kind of splits the pro versus novice versus amateur kind of thing. And so I set the level at that bell curve so that we don't get the other people in there. And then, kind of slightly below that. But so that's the high end. You have to have the 15 matches. And then basically you just got to want to do it. There is an entry fee. Obviously, the entry fee gets you your custom jersey that Jody has now forever. Only competitors get those. No one else gets them. I don't even sell them or anything else. And then, that's pretty much it. But in Jody's class, there was a little bit more tweaking because we had a lot of guys from the 220s. We had guys from the supers. We had a couple of 98ers, 76ers. So what we did is, since those guys actually had enough matches and they were relative to the other people, we basically took all the ratings and combined them into one class called an open, and then compared them across each other based on their wins and losses for their area score, their best wins overall, and then how they are like against the other components in the actual tournament. So when we compared all those numbers together, we created a new rating list based on that, and that's how you got seeded. So a little more complex with the lighter weight class. The supers could have that problem, I guess, if they're not true super guys. But we'll cross that. I have too many supers right now, so I don't think we're going to have a problem. But
you don't worry about weigh-ins on that one either, which is better.
Exactly. And that is the best damn part of this whole thing right there.
I will say this, and yes, Edo wants to know whether the future matches will be in Loveland, Colorado. I think he chimed in after you had said that the people want you guys back. Here's my thing, and I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I had to ask because on the opposite end of what Corey's doing, LeRae Jenkins is kind of doing something similar, but two things are different. His is a 32-man, and he has the elite guys.
It's an invite only.
I went to invite only. So I went to LeRae and I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, did you watch the events?" I say, he goes, "Yeah, I'm a big Corey fan, and I love the way the format went." But he told me, and I'm gonna tell you, Corey. He says, "Make no mistake about it. I'm a huge Corey fan, and I was not trying to step on his toes when I presented, my event. So I'm passing that on to you."
Well, I can tell you firmly that there's no one crazy enough to do what I just did on March 2nd.
I'm glad I was a part of it. Like, seriously, like you go in there and, I understand it was small, the venue-wise, but oh, what's up, man? How you doing and stuff? And then the group chat that we had, and I'm sorry, Corey, because at times Corey says, "All right, guys, we'll trash talk and keep it open." And we all go back to trash talk again. But it was fun though because
it's great. Yeah,
I mean, you guys know as well as I do. You could have the biggest damn venue on the planet, and the arm wrestlers are still going to be crowding each other just to see anything. So
yeah, and so what this venue is, just so you guys get a picture, the venue itself is not humongous. It has a nice stage and everything else, and DJ. They have TVs everywhere. You can see the event going on from the entire facility, but they own 3 other places. So we did weigh-ins at one of them. It was called Wicked. It was very small, a little tequila bar.
Mhm.
Right across from Wicked is their restaurant, and they gave all the arm wrestlers 15% off or something for being part of the crew.
Good omelets,
so
by the way. Good omelets.
Yeah, so they have great food and stuff, and so they got all discounts there. And then the venue, the real venue, is across the street. So we spread the load across the 3, and they profited like 90% profit on that weekend. So they're all about it. They love it. Now,
yeah.
one big thing that I really want to help the guys with, and I know this probably is a big thing for Jody as well, is hotels. I had a deal with the hotel. They wouldn't come down on the price. They thought I was crazy when I told them I was going to get like 50 people or something, and they wouldn't do it. But that is the number one goal next time, to have a host hotel right down the street that you guys all stay at, making it as cheap as possible, easy to get to. I mean, it wasn't that far from the airport, but yes, most of the events will be in Loveland. The sponsor is helping us at every single event. They're putting money towards the Aries Super 64 series, and it's just going to keep getting bigger and more money behind it. And we also do the super match for the pros, stuff like that. So gonna just keep growing from here.
I'll get invited one day to ref or something, Corey.
I did see your. I think I saw your name on there. Was it 98s or something? I don't remember.
Probably 90, probably 76s.
Oh, maybe it was, yeah.
Or I'll just come ref for you. I can do that too.
Yeah.
And you once again, you got to realize, because what Corey did is he wants to put some shine on some of the guys that get overshadowed by the elites, right? So,
Yeah.
He's the other end of the spectrum, whereas LeRay's doing the invite only, which means you are the top, the cream of the crop. What Corey did is like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. There's a lot of arm wrestlers out there who are probably not elite status. However, that doesn't mean they can't compete at a high level. So when you throw $5,000 out, when you throw a sponsorship and that kind of stuff out, I'm like, man, I mean, that right there, woo, you can't get no, hey, don't get no.
Well, yeah, and I had talks with every single person who entered the tournament, and the whole goal is just like Jody said. I want to help the guys who need help getting to more events and provide the funds that I didn't have when I was going to millions of tournaments, and I would go to tournaments just to win money, just to pay for the trip to then turn around and go to another tournament. Mm-hmm. I want to help those people go to more events, have a great time, and not have to worry about the one thing, and that's money. And eventually, the more this spreads, the more sponsored athletes there are, the more ability that arm wrestling gets spread across the country. I already have, of the 4 guys, I already have them asking me, hey, I should probably go to this East Coast event. I'm like, heck yeah, you should. Just make sure they submit their stuff to Aries. Good to go. Maybe they want to go up to Canada, as long as they submit their stuff, or Mexico, or whatever. But yeah, I know how it was. I'm sure all you guys know too. You've been to millions of tournaments just like I have.
Yep.
It was never easy in the beginning. You're spending a lot of money to go all over the place. And now these guys have an opportunity to see where they really are, see if they want to keep going, see if they, the whole idea would be to get them out of the level they are and to the level they should be. So.
Well, it kind of brought back memories. And Ryan, you can speak on this. Back in the day, back in the early 2010s and even earlier than that, where, it was all about the competition. It was all about who was showing up, not so much of, hey, what's the payout? Now every day is about the payout, where before it was all about who was showing up. Yeah, first place might have been $300, but the people I beat for that $300 made it worth it. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I guess it depends where you're at in your career, Jody. But back then, I mean, we did it because we loved it. There was not a lot of money in there. It was nice when Wall came along, or even before that, the UAL came along, and you could win some serious money, but you had to be almost at that elite level to even be considered in that prize money range.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and this is, I look at it as like it's in the reimbursement makes them want to go potentially use it, right? And if they don't, and it rolls back into the pot and so on and so forth. But that whole rest of that year and stuff until March next year, they can do basically whatever they want.
Yeah, I was reading the Schmo's comment. I somewhat agree with what he said there, with what the Schmo's comment was. But if we look at Mississippi State last year, Mississippi State, Michael was there, Choulier was there, Corey was there, Tim Bresnan was there. Everybody still showed up because they wanted to crack at them to find out where they were.
Yeah.
Some people are different, man. Like me, I always am crazy and believe that I can win no matter who's there.
I went there because there were several top 20 176 guys there that I wanted to crack at. So
I'm going to tell you, out of all the guys that were in the chat, and Jody probably heard it many times, that they all wanted to come to this because they all felt they had some chance because there was no elites here.
Right.
And that is the reason why most of these guys went to it. And that's because they're in that level. They don't want to go to tournaments where they pull those guys yet. They just don't feel they're ready for that. And this is the avenue for them to be able to hone their abilities and pull guys who are just like them and actually have a legitimate chance, just by seeding, essentially. So
no, I wasn't disagreeing with it. Like, I agreed with it like 95%, but there's that 5% that are always going to be like, all right, let's see.
Yeah, those are your 1,600 plus guys.
So, we need to get back to that though, like you said, because before it was like you said, Mississippi State had what? Bresnan
West was there, Corey West, Choulier, BJ Fakakis, Michael Todd was there pulling left-handed. That was when he was on his quest for 100 first places.
Right.
So Dustin Hyatt was there. So, I mean, you had a lot of high-end pullers from North America, elite pullers. So everybody wanted to crack.
This is the thing. These are not super matches. This is a tournament, which means
it's a tournament, yeah.
At some point, those guys are going to have to face each other.
Well, Tim was smart that day. Tim decided only to pull Masters to get a crack at Corey in the overalls. And then Corey beat him.
Right.
But then Sean also runs that money class now too, where it brings out a lot of the higher end guys because they want that money.
It's almost to where you know what? Like, if I'm able to, like those elite pullers you just named, if by chance I'm in that class for whatever fucking reason, and I slow them down
exactly
twice, maybe I might sneak in and win on them. That's all you need, because then can you imagine that person's confidence? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's Nick.
Nick Adams is I appreciate this guy so much because that's the attitude I had when I was coming up. I would take any match with anybody, and it didn't matter.
No, and I agree with that. I'm 100% that person too, but I just think that, like we already said, there is people out there who won't go to tournaments like this unless they know they have a chance. And when you're telling them they have a range of guys,
chance.
Yeah, basically a better than 50% chance, then they will do it. They like it. So
Jay Clean just pointed out the typo in Nick's post there.
And then you have guys also there like Dan. Like I can speak about Danny because I trained with Danny and Jody that were there just because they just want to crack because they love the sport. Like, let's just go.
I didn't even get a chance when fucking because I think Danny pulled Isaac after my match, so I pulled Edo right and won. I'm thinking,
Danny beat Ito.
Is it Edo or Ito?
I think it's Ito.
I heard like two different versions. Ito,
it's
right?
All the same.
So,
it's the same. Sure.
Potato. Sure, yeah.
Who says potato?
Pulled after me, but I think he was on the opposite
French people.
And when there were so many people there, like you only focus on your match. If you're up there, you don't know who's on deck, you don't know who's on the other table. You just focus on your match. When I came back down, got my glass of water and stuff. And then I see Danny. I was like, "What's up, man? Did you win?" He goes, "No." The youngster got me. I'm like going, "Fuck." So I won't see him unless we meet up in the B side. Yep. And we didn't meet up in the B side, so I was kind of.
I think he needed that. He needed that first loss to wake him up. But Corey, your buddy Frank impressed me a lot. He looked better than he's ever looked in this event.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just saying. Like, I saw some after pool videos, and I saw him during the tournament. And he looked better than I've ever seen him look. Like,
no, he was training my methodology for a long time there. Last probably 8 months or so. Then he kind of dwindled off a little bit, and he still does some of the stuff that I've been teaching him. Mainly the thing that I've been doing nowadays with him is just perfecting the way he moves and how he pulls and stuff. And he's tenfold. Tell it. Yeah, he's definitely getting the technique, which I stress more than anything. Everyone can get strong, but getting the techniques down to be able to execute properly is more important to me. So especially when you're first coming in, because he's only 2.5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
So he's definitely come a long ways. He pulled really well, considering that was outside of his weight class. I cracked top 16, I think it was top 20 or something.
Yeah.
And no one expected him to get that far.
I
thought Jody would win.
Yeah. Hey, I only made 32, man.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of money on betting on Jody.
That's why I didn't bet.
And like I say, here's the funny part. Like, some people are asking me, and Corey, you know about this in the early chats in the group chats. It was like, well, wait a minute, why is Jody in here? It was like,
oh yeah,
we're talking about my right hand, not my left hand.
I mentioned it many times. I said, hey, Jody sucks right-handed, guys. Just get it out through your head. Okay.
Y'all see that? Y'all hear that now? Yeah.
Wow.
Tell us
how you really feel.
The ratings speak for themselves. His left hand is way, way better than his right hand. But and that was like Jody said, that was hard for people to understand. Like, how can you be better one hand over the other?
So what you're saying is that Jamie doesn't have a shot left-handed, but is going to destroy Jody right-handed.
Pretty much.
Yes. Yeah.
So come July 13th, I'm telling you right now, Jamie, you're my boy and all, but left hand, you going down. But and that's what sucks for us left-handed pullers. You two on the bottom of the screen won't understand this, but me and Ryan get where it's hard because 85% of America or 85% of the world is right-handed. So when you go left, it's like, yeah, but it wasn't my dominant hand. So it's kind of like, are you throwing me a bone or what are we doing here? So it's weird that way,
Well, don't say that to Cody or anybody like that. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it was really difficult for a lot of people to think that Jody could get into it one hand and not the other. And I mean, that's just how it is sometimes. Like, I'm not as good left-handed as I am right-handed, but I'm still pretty good left-handed. Good enough.
Well, it goes to show you that if it was left hand, I wouldn't be invited because my numbers are too high. So it's one of those deals, So
yeah.
Scott's in the chat. I haven't seen Scott for a while.
Ryan, what kind of pain medicine are you drinking up there?
That's rum right there, buddy.
I was like, I know you're drinking some pain medicine there.
I
needed one today. Yeah.
It's going to be all right, man.
They actually gave me tramadol.
Hold on. Can we just applaud the Canadian healthcare system for actually doing something in a timely manner?
Yes.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I had to fight for that.
So is it official, Corey, that you're going to say it? Because you know me, I like to go ahead and help the promoter promote the next thing. And so, God damn it, I'll go out there and be like, hey, man, you heard it here first. Super heavies, you're on deck.
I kind of feel like I want to do super heavies just because it's easier.
I was going to say logistically, it would make it be a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah. I'm pretty much set on super heavies, I think, right now.
Because for guys that are 198, 220, 176, you got to go, oh, okay, cool. So I have more time to train. Perfect. There you go.
Well, that or pull some craziness like the other guys did and jump in that super class if you make it. You don't have to be a super. You just got to be able to make the weight. And the supers is basically open to anyone that qualifies.
I was going to ask you, Corey. I have a question.
Look at mine anyway.
Do you think by putting the bracket out ahead of time, it discouraged some people from coming based on who they got first round?
Nope.
Okay.
I've actually been asked that multiple times, and I don't feel it did anything. If anything, like Jody said, he wanted to know because then he could start watching videos, training for the guy. I mean, they're
like for me, I would want that information, but like I just didn't know. Like
no, and then after like the 27th time of it changing, everyone just got mad and they didn't care anymore. But
well, I don't qualify in the supers right-handed either. Wow.
Oh, you're good right-handed?
I'm a 1594.
Oh,
that's
damn.
too high.
Yeah, you're.
I thought you were retiring right-handed.
Yeah.
I heard him say that.
Yeah, I mean, after I got a thing coming up after this year. This will be done.
So after Jamie.
Yeah, I got Jamie coming up July. That's already been in the works. And then I don't know if do you guys watch Greg Sharp's his last video?
Yep.
About the house.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Team
I know
Jamie,
about that.
Team Jody. There we go. Good way to send off the right hand and be done. So
we better go out with a win.
Yeah, otherwise we got to cut off. Or you got to get a digit taken off.
I still got this thing right here. I gotta put it up. So, and that's both hands. So,
yeah, and that's a point right there. I bought a whole bunch of extra awards and did a bunch of crazy extra stuff. That I really think that pushed it over the limit for a bunch of guys because I'm not all about the whole everyone gets a prize kind of thing, but it was nice for this group to kind of like get a little bit of something in every single spot. And then there was sponsor gifts, there was the medals, there was the helmet, there was coats, there was straps, there was,
no slap. Don't forget the smelling salt. No slap.
No slap. There was so many freaking extra prizes. It was outrageous.
Did I tell you when I went through security? They got the X-ray. They got the X-ray, right? And they're like going, okay, they unzipped it. They're like, and they saw it because there was some that were packaged in the box and then some that were kind of loose. They were like,
yeah, look at that. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, now I had to explain to them that's smelling salt, by the way. That's not like some kind of anthrax or no shit like that. So
yeah, I don't know what Jody thinks about that, but I heard a lot of great comments about they were just happy to get like all the cool shit and have a custom jersey and everything else, that no one else will ever have. So that was one big thing I heard a lot from people.
I just want to go for that right there.
There you go.
Yeah. Jody was there all night.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Rum and Coke. Let's go. I think it's one of those where I can probably frame my jersey on it. You might see it back here maybe one day, but it's to where you can frame it because I tell people when they ask me, hey, what'd you think of the event? Did you have fun? I'm like, you know what? The craziest event I've been to, it wasn't a national, it wasn't worlds, it was this. Because before that, it was the 16-man round robin that Bill Collins did back in California in 2012. But this right here, it's the first of its kind. Anytime you're involved in an event where it's the first of its kind, it's something very special. And for me to be a part of it, once again, Corey, thank you very much. Well, I guess, I qualify, so I guess there's that. But still, thank you for putting this thing on because I had a blast. Everybody had a legit chance to win the whole thing. We all knew at 64, well, I guess 63 guys, only one of them was going to claim, hey, I got it. Stem cell treatment and all. So, congrats Troy Brown to that. He earned it. He went through, he did what he had to do. But to be a part of that was something else. And once you do the supers class, they're going to realize you're going to get that same experience.
Yeah, and I really want to do a youth version. We talked to him about doing a youth version and potentially a women's.
I was going to ask about the women's because, like, I was just talking to Lee Aaron earlier today, and she was heading to New Mexico State, I think she said, and there's going to be no women there, she said. And I'm like, well, that sucks.
Yeah, there never really is.
Oh, she was kicking guys' ass at the after pool anyway. It's all right.
I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I think the a youth version with this adult one could be interesting. Because there's a lot of supers that potentially have kids that might come, and there's kids around and whatnot. Maybe make it a high school kind of age range or something.
All right, Corey, I got my phone here. Don't
my
make
daughter's
me stay.
My daughter's making faces at me because she wants in. But
do you want me to post that? Because I will.
Yeah, let's do it. We're going supers.
I got it.
It's official. The boys up there. Yeah.
It is
official. You know another big thing that came out of this whole deal is I got asked to try to start moving Mexico into Aries, and I've already been talking to a bunch of people about moving Canada into it because I already know most of the promoters who run the brackets up there, or the tournaments, I mean. So it wouldn't be a hard move to get you guys in, and you guys pull us, and that's what makes it work. So then it would just expand even more and get even more crazy, more accurate, etc.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask you
is that right hand, Corey, or left?
Right-handed.
We're
not doing left-handed. Yeah.
What WAF blames the entire problem.
Yep, I know where you're going with this.
Was the IRPA thing.
Yeah.
Has there been any kind of blowback with your system?
No. The major difference between IRPA and what we're doing is we're not charging anyone. I've never asked any single person for money for anything. We do it because we love the sport. IRPA was charging money. I think still does, gives you like $10 or something to get a profile or whatever. So that's one big thing. Number two, we don't just simply give points for wins. We give points for losses and wins. And ELO is actually one of the most accurate systems for calculating potential to win type of scenarios. And it's been in chess for 100 or 60 plus years.
Yeah. So explain deep in that, Corey, because let's see here. I was looking at, because after the event, you posted everybody in the 64-man class that, hey, these were your numbers, depending on how far or how less you went. So I made it to the round of 32. So that meant 2 wins, 2 losses. So grand total, because like Corey just said, you also lose points when you lose the match also. So a grand total of me go 2-2 was negative 3.09 or something like that. So
yeah, because basically in Jody's circumstance, and like I said, we seeded everyone as close as possible. So Jody's first 2 wins were basically 50-50, right? He gained his the highest points you can get is 28. The lowest or midpoint would be 14. So Jody's first 2 matches, he basically gained 14, gained another 14, and then he lost 2, and he lost the 14 again. So
no, I went win loss.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah. So based on that
plus
scenario,
or minus 1.5. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's why he went negative overall, and I think Troy went up 95.
Yeah, total, he went a lot.
Which now he's never going to qualify again, and which he shouldn't. So that's where he belongs now.
I thought I got negative because I had I shit you not, I had about maybe 6 or 7 elbow fouls of the 4 matches.
Because we did triple eliminate or triple fouls system, so gave everyone a little bit more chances to make mistakes.
Oh God, I feel so bad.
But yeah, no, Ryan, I have not had any blowback. I've never had anyone complain. Again, we are not doing this for a profit. We're not trying to, change that kind of. We're not trying to do something along those lines. There's many other ways I could make money at this if I wanted to, and that is not one of them. I never intend to ever charge the arm wrestler for anything because I don't feel as you guys know, there's no money to make off of arm wrestlers themselves. That's not where the money comes from. So why would I charge you to be in a system? Now we've talked about some one-off kind of ideas of profiles, and we want to do badging, like awards for certain levels of things, of most wins, most whatever, highest level, and then maybe we build profiles and you pay like 99 cents to donate to help us, kind of deal, or some nonsense. But
yeah, with like add a photo or something to you, where you're from,
yeah,
yada yada, charge like $2 or something.
Yeah, because this shit ain't free. Let's be real. We've spent a lot of time.
I can attest to how well Corey does with the system. I mean, Arizona, we had a lot of pullers at that event that weren't in the rating system at all, and even based on that and how he seeded everything, it still ended up being pretty much exactly how it should have been at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, so that's another thing is. The biggest thing that I want to change, if anything happens over the time with Aries, is I want to get rid of the concept of pro, amateur, novice. I want to turn tournaments into rated-based events, and where, like I did with Colorado State, there were certain levels of ratings that could make a certain class. We called them tier 1 through 3, and you had to meet a rating qualification to be able to pull that level, because like I was telling Ryan, we have that bell curve that kind of figures out where the levels cross over. So we basically set it on that, and we seeded it based on that as well in a traditional style for the normal tournament. So 1 versus 12 kind of thing, so on and so forth. But I have ran the numbers against multiple tournaments now, and the accuracy behind does the higher rated puller win type of things, which that's why we're doing this. It has been 85% accurate every single time. So,
well, yeah, until you fuck up and go on the East Coast, they got a semi-pro, and I'm sorry,
that just goes in the open, bro. I ain't messing with all that nonsense. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now, and I'm gonna get so much hate mail for this, but I don't care because I've already had a glass of wine, so I don't fucking care about this. And we're past the 15-minute mark, so I can cuss now. This one fucking pisses me off, right? What the fuck is semi-pro? You're basically seeing the
amateur.
Same guy in the amateur class in the semi-pro. It's the same people.
Hey, Paul Italia lived in that semi-pro class, so
no, I love my boy Paul. Paul, at the 57-minute, 31-second mark, I love you. Get the fuck out of semi-pro. Really.
Yeah, no, not
guys like Nanya for like 6,500. Why the fuck are you in semi-pro, bro? Get in the open class and do some damage. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that right there, just self-explanatory of why I want to get rid of it. I feel that every tournament should get rid of the words pro, amateur, novice, semi-pro, master, all that. Well, master would be different.
Whoa.
Hey, I'm a master now too, so you just relax there, old guy.
I'm the youngest one. Yes, no master here.
You do an Aries master, guarantee I'll make the fucking round of 16.
No, you won't, because you won't qualify.
Oh.
No, you're right. Actually, no.
He will 242 since he lost 3 points.
Oh, okay, so you're safe there.
Yeah.
But you gotta see my point with the ratings thing. I feel like I said, there's too many people staying in classes, staying in amateurs for like literally ever, and they never get out of it. They never get out of novice. They don't want to pull pro because there's someone that's always going to beat them. And I feel like the level of competition should be more fluid. Like you should be able to be in that amateur-esque, let's call it the amateur-esque level 2 area, and you're jumping in at one tournament, then you win enough, then you get into the next level, then you lose, and you jump back and forth until you don't jump back and forth.
Is there another way you could structure that by like having hypothetical? You have your tier systems within a singular bracket, right? That way you have the lower rated at the bottom, the higher rated at the top, and the lower rated can eventually make it to the higher rated person and get some higher rated wins.
That is essentially what we did in a very small scale for the 64.
Okay, so I think that would be like amazing to be able to run every tournament everywhere that way, because then you're not having an amateur class and semi-pro. You're having one big ass bracket, and you're
Yeah. No, I'm gonna tell you because I'm a promoter, and I'm gonna tell you why everyone does the millions of classes, and it strictly comes down to one thing, and that's money. It
I was about
gives
to
you
say,
more entry fees. It makes more sense to make more classes, that more opportunity to pull.
From
the
a
best,
promoter standpoint.
Yes,
yeah,
but I'm saying from
the
a
best,
puller standpoint, like that would be for me.
Oh,
if
yeah,
I show up
no.
and I know there's 40
Yeah.
people in my class today, I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to be a fun day. Not there's 6. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. No, that's my eventual goal, is to get it to where we could do a 40-man, 30-man class or whatever. In every tournament, you're like seeded to the top.
It's identical to the way Arizona State was, essentially.
Yeah. And just big classes. No more calling somebody an amateur, all that kind of stuff. What do you go into the tournament? It's like, are you a 1500? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go over here with these guys.
Corey came to my event last year, last summer, and like we had the early weigh-ins on Friday night.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first ones you actually did. Where's your name at? Where your rating you are? And I'm gonna put you in that bracket. So that was pretty cool.
I need to come to that tournament, Jody. I haven't been yet. I need to attend your tournament. I haven't been yet.
Hey, hit me up. That way I can send you the flyer.
Yeah, well, we did Colorado State just like that last year,
Yeah.
and it was a massive success. Like,
I heard
so many guys were happy with the idea of how, and each tier level had different different payouts, awards, the whole 9 yards. So, tier 3, the lowest level, which you would consider a novice or whatever, we had guys who are actually real arm wrestlers who've been pulling for a long time, and they just aren't very good, and they qualified for that class. They didn't win an award or anything else. It was cheap entry, and they got to pull, and that's what they liked. And then there was the level 2 where they got awards, and level 3 got awards and money. So, that's how I feel like eventually we need to get to. I think it will greatly expand arm wrestling when we get to that level.
And the thing is, it's hard to prevent. You can't. It'll also weed out all the sandbaggers as well. You know what I mean? You won't have
there's no way to sandbag it.
Exactly.
Yep,
you know
there's
what I mean?
just no way.
Oh, no, don't worry. And I'll have you guys know firsthand. I'm not going to mention their names, but there are some guys out there when this came out and when they heard, here, 2 things. When they heard how much money was up for first place, there were guys trying to sandbag purposely just so they can get in there because they knew if you lose points. And then it's like, really, dude? But Corey's smart enough to know, that ain't happening.
Yeah, I know almost everybody.
But then we had another shift too, because once Bob Brown says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to donate 1,000 or whatnot. Once Vitacell came on board, then all of a sudden people want to get back in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Jody and everyone else who was part of the team, they all knew the rules. It was, you pay your entry fee, no refunds. There's too much on the line to do that. I expected them to be professional, and 90% were. So,
I mean, speaking with Danny, he had nothing but positive to say about it, and he goes everywhere. We all know that. Yeah. So, if he's saying it was one of the best events he's ever been to, it's definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go to a single other tournament and pull or have the opportunity to hang out with 60 plus guys from around the country in 21 plus states in your same weight class that you've never competed against.
Extremely rare.
The after polls was half the fun anyways. Everyone was going to town forever.
Jody was lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I've seen the videos. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was.
Well, gents, let's put a bow on this one for the evening.
Yes.
Oh, what's next? What's next for you, Corey? Speaking of, what are you preparing for next?
So my next big thing is I got invited to the WAC for the top A WAC thing.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna go in at 172, but Igor, I told him, I was like, I've been, I got the stem cells. I felt great. I was sitting heavy, high 70s, low 80. And I said, hey, if you need someone bigger than that, I will go to the next class and get as big and strong as possible. So he's like, well, if you think you can compete, I was like, I know I can compete at any weight class. Just let me know. And
You
it was like
85
later. I am going to 189 actually, and
85
I'm
kilos.
tell you, 189 pounds.
What is it? Is that in kilos? 80s, 176.
80,
I think it's 85.
85.
85 or 86, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, my arm is so freaking strong, it's ridiculous. I don't even have to hit anymore. It feels like unbelievable. I cannot express how much the VitaCell stuff has literally fixed my arm, and I've been dealing with that problem for almost a year and a half now, and is basically gone. But I can't say that just getting the shot made me stronger. It fixed my problem to allow me to get back to normal, and now I can lift and do the things I need to do. And I've just been growing. I'm getting old. I'm almost 40, so it's time to expand my horizons.
So before we know it, we're going to see a 198 Corey Miller. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, it's going to happen.
So no more Corey in the lightweight in the light classes.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of so. That's people ask me why I dropped out of the round robin and stuff. And when I was given the opportunity for the WAC, and they're like, "You want to pull 189?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's go big or go home." So
I mean, that's a little more. I mean, no disrespect to those guys by any way, shape, or form, but that the WAC thing carries a significant amount more weight.
Yeah. So I plan to go to Worlds at 189. I'm going to the WC at 189. I'm gonna try to win that thing, and then see what happens. So, just the biggest, strongest version of myself as I've ever been.
Well, sweet, man. Well, guys, thanks for joining us on the show.
Yeah.
We appreciate that, man. We went 1 hour and 6 minutes, gentlemen.
We got all the information out there, Jody. It was good.
Good time. I already put it out there, Corey. I put out there twice about the next
Supers.
me.
Supers get I'll post the list here soon. Let you guys know. I'm not sure on the date just yet. Probably a couple months from now.
I just put more info to follow and left it at that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Oh my God.
Next week.
So long, everybody.
Later.